Good day, my name is Lucky Luck Luke, and I'll be doing another pit tutorial, sort of starts the pit class tutorial, and today we'll be doing the warrior. So you can catch me on Twitch, Twitch TV / Lucky Luck Luke 2. If you don't want to check out my live stream, go ahead and check that out, give me a follow, see when I'm streaming. So here we go, let's jump into the Hiver warrior. Hiver warriors are born and bred to battle for the glory and honor of their maternal clan. Rapari is a Hiver veteran who was adopted by human colonists on Arbuda 4 after his maternal clan was destroyed. He is searching for a cure to the zombie plague, which has afflicted his human friends and neighbors. Oh, what a nice little bug. Alright, so let's hop in there, take a look at his starting gear and equipment. So this is the Hiver. So he starts with the Rhea, a very powerful blade. The Corrasion, which doubles as a melee weapon, and a pistol that shoots twice. His most signature and powerful weapon right there. Flamethrower, lots of fun, burn stuff. And it starts with armor with pretty high durability and decent armor itself. He starts with a Hiver tool, a very useful tool. And a fair sort of food, a lot of grenades. No EMP grenades sadly, but a large assortment of grenades. And a bunch of med patches. So decent starting gear. So the Hiver is kind of a, in a sense, a tanky character. He starts with 40 natural armor, so unlike other classes, they will start with 0 natural armor. So even if we take your armor off, you're sitting at 40 armor. So again, another weakness of the Hiver, or a lot of alien classes actually, is that you cannot wear most armor. So you want to stretch this, I'm not going to try to pronounce the armor, but you need to stretch the armor as much as you can to carry you into the late game. Because you're not going to, there's a good chance you'll spend a whole run and not be able to craft or find any new armor. So the first few floors you kind of want to just use your arm blades. That's another thing he has. He has pretty much a built-in knife. He has pretty good damage, can one-shot bats. So let's just hop into the next few floors. We'll try to get to a level. Once I level up, we'll talk about his level up strategy. He has 2 move speed, which is regular. He also has a very high food consumption rate. Lower than a mercenary, I believe, but still quite high. One of the highest. These bats here, they may seem scary, but they actually, you don't need your psionics, they're not very tough. So feel free to use your arm blade on them. He has I don't know if I mentioned it correctly, but he has a pretty low XP gain, so he gains experience quite slowly. I think maybe even slower than the Marine, or on par with the Marine. Okay, so one thing I'll mention is that usually you wouldn't want to, as soon as you level up, you probably want to save your level up to heal, especially on the Hiver, because you really want to avoid resting as much as you can. So that'll increase basically your food that way. But for tutorial's sake, I'm just going to level right now and take a look at his leveling up stats. So he starts with 2 stat points per level, which is pretty good. Generally what I would suggest first is to go for Finesse 60 right away. Go Finesse 60. The reason for that is a lot of weapons that need 60 Finesse. And also Finesse is generally a good stat. After that I go Might 70 just to get that slightly bit extra inventory space. You're only 5 points away. And then after that, you could put a few points into power, but I think it's so low that it doesn't really matter. You're going to get feared regardless. I wouldn't really invest more. I'd start investing into Finesse just to help the accuracy of weapons and damage of weapons, because you're going to rely on weapons a lot. So, what do I do with my skill points? I like to go Resistance. You need to get Resistance. Bare minimum unlock Psi Shield. I like to go all the way to Psi Armor. Not necessary. He doesn't have much Psi at all. I think he's the only class that doesn't get Psi per level. So you'll only be able to cast like 1 Psi Shield. But despite that, if you go for Psi Armor, your Psi Shield becomes stronger, or it lasts longer. Everything becomes stronger, but it will last longer, so it's useful in that point. So 35, maybe you don't need to go all the way to 35, but get at least 20 points in resistance, I would suggest. If you want to go for Psi Armor, that's a good strategy to go for that. I also go for Manipulation. I really like this skill. There's a lot of good uses for it. I won't go into details, but I like getting Manipulation, but it's totally optional. You can either, I would suggest going only Psi Armor or Psi Armor and Manipulation. And he starts with 5 telekinesis, so it's not as far as you think. So we're going to go TK. That leaves you about, eventually you'll stop, pretty soon into the game you'll stop investing in there, so that'll leave you probably 4 points to invest elsewhere. One of the most important skills is Pistol Skill for the Hiver. I would wait until it gets to 45 naturally to start investing into that, but the reason Pistol is so important is that the Corrasion is what will carry you throughout almost the entire game. This is your key weapon here. Now, the reason it's so important is that it's a pistol, but it also doubles as a melee weapon. One of the strongest melee weapons in the game because it attacks twice. Well, I can't really melee this thing. I'm just gonna try to shoot it. I'll demonstrate that here. So here's a bat, but I'm gonna try to attack twice. It does like 14-15 damage per hit. So you want to keep this in best condition you can, and that's why the pistol skill is so important, because it increases the damage and accuracy of the pistol. Very important skill. Then I would try to probably level up Biotech, even though it's super low, unless you find an easy cooker or something like that, or a purifier to help it go up to 45 naturally. If not, you need to invest into Biotech. And your last point, once forging gets up to 45, I would put it into there. If you still have points floating around after that, rifle is always good, and so is mechanical. And yeah, that's probably it. But you'll probably be using your points for pistol, biotech, foraging, and that's it. So yes, side points. What else could we talk about here? Oh yeah, the flamethrower. Yeah, flamethrower is, you start off with, unfortunately there's very little ammo for it, 15 shots, so you want to use it as best you can. The flamethrower you want to use for high health, low armor targets, such as bears. Bears are the best example I could think of. Makose, also, the large Makose mass is pretty good. So yeah. Let me just turn my Steam off for a second here. Oh, for fudge sakes. Alright. So, okay, what else can we talk about here? Yes, the flamethrower. There's also something that I should mention about, let's see if we can be lucky and find an ammo crate in the next few rooms, so I can demonstrate something. Another weakness of the Hivers is extremely low power. It means that you're gonna get feared a lot. It's gonna be quite painful. There's a few ways to deal with fear. That actually could be worth making a video for. But yeah, fear is gonna be one of your biggest nightmares as the Hiver. Despite the name, him being a Hiver warrior, I would not suggest this character for a new players. He's actually quite hard to play. One of the hardest. Well, he's used to be extremely hard. They've buffed him over and over and over again, and now I think he's not too bad to play now. Mostly because the Corrasion got a huge buff. Now this weapon does pretty serious damage. If you can keep in good repair, you'll do well as the Hiver. So is there any... yeah, I don't see any ammo crates to show. I wouldn't use my flamethrower like this, but we're going to do it anyways. It's not a good enough target, to be honest with you, to use it on, you know, one protean. But sometimes if you, like large proteans is actually another good thing flamethrower is good for. So here we go. So let's pretend that okay, let's pretend that this damage locker is an ammo crate. So the way ammo crates work is there's a chance that you'll get a bonus ammo drop, and that bonus ammo drop is based on um, the weapons you have in your inventory. So because I have the Karazen and the flamethrower in my inventory, there's a chance that the ammo crate will drop either high caliber rounds or fuel cells. Now, as good as fuel cells may be, the sad thing is one fuel cell is one shot of the flamethrower, which I wish they would have changed, but they have not. So you do not actually want to get flame cells from ammo crates because it won't carry you very far at all. So you really would much rather have high caliber rounds instead of fuel cells. So what I suggest you do is, if you can remember, every time you get to a ammo crate, drop your flamethrower, open up the crate. That way there's no chance you'll get fuel cells from it, or very minimal chance that you'll get um, a very minimal chance that you'll get that from it. That you will get fuel cells from it. You're pretty lucky there. I got the polymer infuser. Polymer infuser is actually a really awesome item for the Hiver because it's super hard to repair your armor, and this will get you just a way to safely repair your armor. Because another weakness of the Rapari, the Hiver, is that, as you can see, his computer skills at 5, lockpick 9, electronics 5, all this super low, and you don't really have the skill points to be able to afford to increase these. You need to find special ways. You need to just level these up naturally all the way up to 45. There's a bunch of tricks you can do to do so, or tools you can find. Purifier, for example, is a great way to get your computer skill up and your biotech skill up. So we got another level up here, so I'm going to get resistance, TK, and we'll save our points until we get foraging to 45, which will take a long time. So let's see, and then tune finesse. Another unfortunate thing, which I don't like much at all, is that the Hiver has very high racial penalties when using weapons. So because he's a character that's super reliant on weaponry, even if you do find weapons, these weapons that you find are going to be hard to use and you'll miss a lot. So that's probably one of the biggest weaknesses that makes the class very hard to play, is that if you do find new weaponry, you're not going to be able to use it very well. But he does have very high combat skills, high rifle assault. I feel like these should even be higher, considering he's very dependent on them. So yeah. Yeah, I think I already mentioned this, but he starts with a whole whack of grenades that can carry you through some pretty scary enemies. And he does not start with a lockpick set, which is very unfortunate. It makes it very hard to find new weapons. But the Hiver tool will help you open the some weapon lockers. And I think that's about all there is to talk about for the Hiver. Yeah, so that concludes my class tutorial for the Hiver. I hope you enjoyed it. Catch me on Twitch, LuckyLuckLuke2 on twitchtv.com. And I hope you enjoyed this. It was my final class tutorial, I believe. I think I have all the classes, but spoiler alert, there should be a new class coming up very shortly. And I'm probably going to do a tutorial for that class as well. So you guys take care and catch me next time. Peace out. Okay, that's that. So that was just doing the tutorial there.